CT Rocks, and my guest today is Beth Barnes again. Welcome to the Mayor of Newport. You're now more than a month into your new job.
Actually, 2
alive.
months.
2
I'm
months,
approaching
wow.
2 months. Yeah, time flies when you're having fun.
You're still sitting here, you're alive, and there are big changes coming in the city.
Yeah, I'm more than alive. I am really enjoying the job of being mayor.
That's
Or
cool.
the role of being mayor, I guess. And people are pretty surprised when I say that. I have to qualify it, though, by saying that there are challenges.
Yes.
But those are for me to face and to deal with. And there aren't many of them. I mean, mostly I'm having a ball, meeting people, getting to know parts of Newport that have kind of been hidden to me
Right.
since I gained the title of mayor, and that kind of makes me able to knock on doors, whereas
Yeah.
before Beth Barnes knocking on a door just got it closed on her, but now it's Mayor Beth Barnes, oh, come on in. And
That's nice.
yeah, it's great. I've seen, and we'll talk about this probably later, but I've seen some really exciting things about Newport that I want to share with everybody else.
That's great.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the biggest change that's coming up. And as you know, there's buzz on the street, but nobody has information. We know that our city manager, after 8 years, is moving.
Mm-hmm.
How do things change? How do we get a new city manager? Nobody has civics classes anymore, so the process is totally foreign.
Yeah, well, I'm learning right along with everybody. It's not something that I've had to do before in my professional life, certainly not my personal life. I have a lot of great people giving me great information. I couldn't move forward in this job without those people.
Right.
For example, Vermont League of Cities and Towns, and people within the city government. And I want to first say thank you to Laura Dolgan for her service. She'll be retiring on June 2nd, and I'm sure that we'll all wish her well in her new life of retirement. I thought I retired, and now I'm mayor.
Look what you
so,
did. Yeah.
So let that be a warning to Laura that she might think she's retired, but she may find herself
I've been
mayor.
retired for about 10 years. Do I look retired?
No, and you don't act retired either. But it's really fun to have a second and a third act, so I hope she
it is.
enjoys one as well. As far as new city manager, it's something that I have been told and believe that it could take up to 6 months to find one. It's not necessarily something we do ourselves here within the city structure. We've reached out to Vermont League of Cities and Towns, which is a wonderful resource for many, many things. They've been a wonderful resource for me. And they actually have an arm that does searches for new city employees. Unfortunately, they don't have anyone that can help us right now with a search, so they've referred us to a couple of other people. I've been I nominated myself to kind of be the point person for it and gather the information that I can share with the other city council members and those that need to know and those that are involved. So I had a really nice talk to one firm, and I'm waiting to hear back from another one, and they'll be sending proposals. It's just like anything, you know. They submit a proposal, I send it on to the city council members, and then we all get together and talk about it.
And then there's advertising, I assume, not just headhunters.
Absolutely. The headhunters or the search firm will actually play the role in doing that. They'll know where to advertise, where is going to get the most feedback, and then they'll go ahead and they'll take those applications and letters of interest, and they'll look at them and probably, you know, put some over here and put some over here, as it goes with any job search.
And they would do the first round of filtering.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's a really great way forward, because I don't think, you know, and I may be speaking out of school, but I don't think any of us really have the expertise, the HR expertise, the specialized expertise that we need to find a city manager. And the city manager is an incredibly important role. I was speaking to two of Senator Welch's aides this week, and they said this will be your legacy as mayor. choosing, being part of that team that chooses a new
No
city manager.
pressure.
But zero pressure. Yeah,
Right.
it's, all eyes are on you, but
Yeah,
don't
no
feel
pressure.
pressured at all. Yeah, but that made me feel really proud because
Yeah.
the city manager is the one that takes care of the day-to-day, the human
Right.
resources, the dealing with the departmental heads.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a huge job. We need to find the right person to do it.
Yeah, and I'm sure there are sort of assorted background components. I mean, this is going to pull people with really diverse resumes.
Yeah. I think, probably some expertise in government affairs, definitely in HR, because a lot of the job is human resources.
Management, yeah.
And management. Of course, budgeting. In fact, I brought the Vermont statute, which states what some of the roles of the city manager are.
What does it
And
say for budgeting?
it says, I'm just going to read a few of the things that it says.
Sure.
Consider this Civics 101 when it comes to mounting a
you.
search for a city manager. Like I said, we're all learning
Well, I
together.
decide if I'm applying.
Yeah,
right?
oh yeah. But your application will be gratefully accepted.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm not sure which pile it'll go in, but we'll gratefully accept it. Yeah.
Cool.
So this is taken off the Vermont statutes, which is a really great resource and has been
Yes.
super for me. It's these are some of the roles: to see that the laws and ordinances are faithfully executed, attend meetings, prepare and submit to the council reports, prepare and submit to the council tentative budgets. And one that I double underlined, which I think a lot of people might be asking, is the very last line of this statute says, the city manager need not be a voter or a resident in the city.
Aha.
And that is according to the state statute.
Wow.
Yeah.
But what about according to Newport's guidance and charter?
Yeah.
Isn't there something in that?
This was actually taken from the statutes under the city of Newport on the state statutes.
Wow.
I had heard otherwise. That's why I was really surprised, and I did also double check this with our city attorney.
Whoa. That's a big deal.
So that could be something that I need to check with others within the city.
Yeah, and that's certainly something that you guys sitting in the position of trying to sort all this out are really going to have to figure out.
Yeah, yeah. So that's probably got a question mark over it. And I
Yeah.
did, when I read it, I thought, wow, that kind of contradicts what I've heard. So that's why I reached
Yeah.
out to the city attorney. But I'll do some more research on that
Yeah.
on behalf of everybody I'm gathering information for.
And however that plays out, that's certainly something that citizens are going to need information on, because that's been one of the polarizing challenges.
Yeah,
And
over the years.
Polarization here is mostly because of lack of information. It's like, you still hear, why doesn't the city do something with the whole? Well, gee, the city doesn't own the whole. But somehow, no matter how often that's said, it isn't always heard.
Yeah, and I that's a really good point you make, Pam, about sharing information,
Yeah.
because the age-old adage of information is power.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be power in a domineering way.
Not at
It's
all.
just like citizens need to feel that little bit of power by
Right.
knowing what's going on. And I think
Exactly.
empowering people is a really important part of respecting them.
I agree. And if you want citizens to become involved and not just be spoon-fed whatever is coming down the pike, then it's
Yeah.
really important that there is an opportunity to become involved.
Yeah, and one of the best ways to do that, attend the city council meetings.
Right.
And see what's going on, and then take away from those city council meetings what you'd like to know more about or what you'd
Right.
like to get involved in. So I can't impress upon the community enough when I say, please consider attending a city council meeting. And quite selfishly, I'm asking you because it makes me feel really confident when I'm sitting in that
Front of a
chair.
packed room.
And yeah, it's, I may look calm and collected, but it's nerve-wracking to
Sure.
sit in that chair.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's interesting because as you know, this goes out, and so the city council meetings as YouTube videos as well as on TV. And I had just checked the last YouTube video, and one person had commented, and their comment was, "Wow, the room is packed."
Oh, that's great to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Compared to perhaps what it was before, but there's always room for more, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So a personal invitation to everybody watching this, even though I can't personally invite them, please come to city council
and an
meetings.
opportunity to feel included as opposed to excluded.
Yes.
And that's really
Yeah,
important.
it is. And I'm seeing that, I'm going to use this as a segue, if you don't mind, into some of the things that I've been doing. Because just knocking on doors and asking, for example, I went to Metal Flex, which is on Lakemont Road, which I've passed for 10 years and thought, wow, I really want to know what goes on in there. And I met the general manager at the business employers appreciation breakfast at the Career Center. And I asked him, I said, do you mind if I come for a tour? And of course he was thrilled.
Of course.
But not as thrilled as I was, because I could hardly believe what was going on behind those closed doors.
What is going on?
I am here to tell you, it is amazing. Full-blown manufacturing within walking distance of my house.
Wow.
They produce bellows, which when I think of bellows, I think of the,
These
these
that
things.
was
Yeah.
my image.
These are fascinating things, small and large metal bellows that, and I'm not even going to pretend like I understand them, but these bellows, they make them there. They ship them all over the world. Some of them are used in F-16s, in airplanes that
Wow.
we fly on. They're used in submarines, on the space station. And this one I particularly want to mention because I'm fascinated by this. Off the coast of Washington, 17,000 feet below the surface of the ocean, they have some of their bellows on the plates, the tectonic plates,
Right.
so that they can, they're very sensitive and they can,
Predict
I don't
an
know if
earthquake.
predict when a
Yeah.
tsunami is coming, but they're,
Or an earthquake.
yeah, or an earthquake.
Yeah.
They're manufactured here in Newport,
That's
Vermont.
amazing.
05855. And they employ over 30 people, full-time employees. I got to see the production line. I got to see these wonderful women doing this really precision welding with microscopes. It's fascinating.
Wow.
And guess what? They're hiring.
Huh.
They're hiring.
It sounds like a career path.
It
too.
is definitely a career path. The gentleman that's the general manager, he actually went to North Country High School. He's been here, his entire life, and I can't say enough about how impressed I was. It's just a one-story building
Right.
that we passed probably
Yeah.
oodles of times.
Exactly.
And you walk in, and it's just quite incredible. So if somebody's looking for a job, I can recommend talking to Metal Flex.
Wow.
That's one of them. And then yesterday I was at I had a little bit of extra time between meetings, and I went up to the Work Commons.
Yes.
I hadn't been there since it
Oh, I
opened.
love that space.
It's stunning. It's beautiful space, but there was a door, the only door that really looked like maybe there was somebody behind it, so I kind of tapped on it.
Peeked in.
And I'm like, knock, knock, knock. And I heard somebody say, come in. I went in. It was actually Mark Stewart's former architectural office up
Oh,
there on
yeah.
the top floor. And there were 3 designers up there. There was Bill, Mia, and Elizabeth sitting behind their computers designing, as you might have expected.
Yeah.
Doing architectural designs and things like that. And I had zero idea that we had such talent. Again, right there on Main Street.
Right.
So that's why I'm having a ball. I get to meet
Yeah.
all these people, and they're happy to see me, and probably not as happy as I am to see them, though.
Right.
Yeah.
And as mayor or as city council, you don't have space in the municipal building.
No, I wish I did.
Well, yeah, except that the workspace is so much nicer.
Yeah, it's pretty beautiful. It is.
And
very
has
nice.
all of these resources, and I bet they would be thrilled to let all of you work there.
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
needed to.
That's something to put on one of the burners for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, and and I got to go to the prison yesterday.
Is that the good news or the bad news?
That
and they let
is-
you out.
They did let me out. It was a very it was a really emotional experience.
I bet.
Actually, I've never been to a correctional facility.
Yeah.
And one of my neighbors who works there was kind enough to be the conduit between me and the superintendent.
Right.
And Superintendent Jacobs welcomed me with open arms and gave me a
Sure.
wonderful tour. Met so many wonderful employees that work up there.
It's a hard
But
job.
it definitely, there were a few things up there that immediately imprinted on me that, once seen can't be unseen.
Right. Yeah,
So,
I've been in prison. So.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
really,
I think one of the
Humbling.
frustrating things about the prison is it was established with the consent of Newport whenever it was established, but with no understanding of what it meant to host a facility of that size for that purpose. And of course, nobody mentioned resources to help the prisoners when they leave there or their families.
Yeah.
So families come to Newport and we have no resources.
yeah, I know
It-
that's
It's a big deal.
it is a big deal. In fact, after this meeting, after this interview, I'm going to meet with Diane Peel, who runs the MESH.
Yeah.
But after that, I'm going to see Lynn Gatt and watch a Zoom
Yeah.
with her over at the Orleans County Restorative Justice Center.
Right.
So it's all kind of full.
It
It's all
ties
kind of
together.
together, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
I mean, one of the other tragedies of the prison, the correctional center, is that people are there because they can't make bail.
Yeah.
And to have people locked up who don't need to be locked up simply because of money makes me crazy.
And that's
It's
a
so
huge
wrong.
issue in the national news too.
Oh,
But we're seeing it right here in
absolutely.
our own zip codes.
Yeah.
It's
But,
endemic everywhere.
How can people? It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be, and it's fixable.
Yeah, well,
Not by you.
thank you. Thank you, Pam.
can fix
Yes,
everything
I
else, but-
appreciate that. Because I said it before I was elected, I'm not a magician or a miracle worker. And I just want to reiterate that.
what you
I'm a
can-
listener, though.
Yeah, and that's really essential. And what you can do is shine a light on it.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that's a
that
really
is
great way to
so
put it.
Powerful.
Yeah, yeah. I like
So
that a lot.
if the
Shine a
quote
light.
mayor of Newport is speaking out about bail conditions or no resources, that counts.
Yeah. The one thing I need to really be careful about is not using my voice to speak about things that I don't know enough about. I think that does everybody, including and especially myself, a huge disservice.
Absolutely. But you can ask questions.
But I can ask questions, and I've been asking a lot of questions, and I know sometimes that's, sometimes people don't like to be asked questions, but it's the only way
We've
that
noticed
I'm.
that as citizens.
Oh, yeah. It's the only way I can learn and be better
exactly.
equipped to answer them if I get them.
Yeah.
But I'm going to segue totally away from what we're talking about now. So
Go
I guess
for
it's
it.
not a segue. But I was really excited. I got a letter yesterday from the mayor of Sherbrooke.
Oh, yeah.
Is it Sherbrooke or Sherbrooke?
Sherbrooke.
Yeah,
Sherbrooke.
Sherbrooke. I was not expecting that, but it was a congratulatory letter. I really appreciated it. And it was also a reaching out letter. Kind
That's
of like,
nice.
let's work together.
Perfect.
Yeah, so that's one of the things I'm going to put on my list of things to do is maybe get a chance to go up and
a really
visit
cool
her.
town.
I love that town.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never quite know where to park though. So
Well, I know I've had that issue.
Yeah.
And actually, parking anywhere up there right now is a challenge until we can figure out how to work those new fancy meters.
oh gosh, well I'll talk to you before I go up there. Yeah, because the last thing I want to do is get a ticket.
Ticket, exactly.
But so a lot of things have been happening, and
Yeah.
just it's just. I feel so proud being able to be the mayor of Newport. I have no idea which direction it's going. I have no clue, but I hope it's a really good, positive direction.
And the more people become engaged, why wouldn't it be?
Yeah, I agree. And I want to put a shout out into the community for a group of young kids who meet at the library and trade Pokemon cards.
I saw that on
Yeah,
Facebook.
I
That's
saw it on
really
BT
cool.
Rocks.
Yes.
Yeah, and as soon as I saw it, I thought, okay, this is going to be my last thing to do tomorrow. So I walked up and I had a great time talking to the parents and watching the kids, and was really thrilled that kids are still trading Pokemon cards and not, sitting in front of a computer screen. It was really
Right.
super to see the interaction with the kids. Yeah.
How do they do it?
I don't know. They just like spread all their cards out, and they're really like well organized in binders and boxes.
That's
and
amazing.
it's a whole nother language than when my daughters were doing it 30 and 32 years ago.
Right,
But
well-
it's still going strong. And they're,
Yeah.
they're trading and oohing and awing and
I mean, Pokemon is so far not in my wheelhouse. and
Mine
we
either.
weren't even baseball cards.
Yeah.
I mean,
But it's funny because it came into fashion when we were living in England. So
Yeah.
when we would go back to California, the girls would get cards and bring them back to England.
Oh,
So they were like,
score
"Whoa,
points."
yeah, definitely scoring points." But what I loved about it was these kids were talking to each other.
yeah.
They were talking, they were interacting, they were laughing, they were sharing. It
Yeah.
was really great. I'd love to see more kids come to that.
Yeah.
And another shout out for the new ping pong.
Yes.
Table tennis, whatever you want to call it. It's on my calendar for next Tuesday.
Every Tuesday, right?
It's every
6 till 9?
Tuesday, 6 to
6 till
9.
9,
Yeah, in
yeah.
the municipal building. And also, while I'm on shout-outs, I'm going to give a shout-out to
Keep going.
my event on May 6th, which is Hike with the Mayor over at Bluffside Farm. You know, I love to hike, so
Of
it's
course.
like, why not marry the two? And Dan Kilborn from the Vermont Land Trust is going to join us. And so
He's
it's going to
got
be
so
like
much knowledge.
a docent walk, really.
Yeah.
It's not a hike, so
Yeah.
more of a
Stroll.
ramble. A stroll.
ramble, right.
Yeah, for maybe 2 miles.
Yeah.
And I had completely forgotten that is also Green Up Day.
Yeah.
So
You can
I
green
feel
up
we
along
can
the way.
green up in the morning and come walk in the afternoon. But it's at 2 o'clock, May 6th, meeting at the main parking area at Bluffside Farm.
Which one are you counting as the main one?
Yeah.
The one that's nearest to the city or the one that's opposite
It's
Spruce Street?
on Prouty,
It's on
it's
Bluff.
actually on, it's off Bluff, but it's actually on Scott Farm Road,
Yes, that's
across from Spruce, yeah.
Spruce, yeah.
I got that wrong the first time, and Tracy Shaw was nice enough to tell me
Yeah.
exactly how to refer to it. So it's the one
Yeah.
on Scott Farm Road, across from Spruce.
yeah, that's the
off
bigger
Bluff,
parking
yeah.
lot. It's a nice one.
It's a beautiful, lots of space for cars, hint,
Right.
hint.
And it's right by the community garden.
Right by the community garden, yeah. I'm really looking forward to it. I hope a lot of people show up. I've only had one official RSVP, but
Uh-huh.
I'm guessing that there are more out there that are going to come, and I've billed it as family friendly.
That's great.
So-
And I also saw that you said, please no dogs.
On this one, yeah,
Yeah.
leading hikes for the Green Mountain Club, we
Yeah.
found that sometimes if more than one dog shows up, it
Yes,
makes it
pain.
really difficult for a lot of people who are hiking.
Yeah.
I find that dogs, they dart in and out. So I
They
figure
do.
the people can come this time
Yeah.
and check out the trails, and then the next
then
time
go with
they
their
can
dogs,
they can bring
right.
their dogs. Yeah, it's not that I'm being curmudgeonly. It's just that I've seen it before on group
Right.
hikes, that when you get too many dogs, it can some people aren't too sure of themselves, and
Right.
a dog brushes against
And
them.
some dogs
all
feel the
over.
need to comment. Woof, woof,
Yeah,
woof.
yeah. So it's not that I'm being mean, or,
Yeah.
or
No, it
I
makes-
love
it
dogs
makes
as much as the
perfect
next
sense.
person.
It makes
Yeah.
perfect sense.
No cats allowed either. I'm a cat person, so I may as well.
Well, as you
Could you
know, I
imagine?
live practically opposite there, and unfortunately, a couple of my cats are frequently over there.
I've seen them.
Right. So you may have cat
That's
company.
funny. Yeah, that's
and
funny.
I have no control. I will explain to them they can't go, but
Yeah, so I probably could go on and on with shout outs, but I think I've kind of hit the main ones for now.
Yeah, it's
I
a
think-
lot. You've
yeah,
done
we've-
a lot.
We've covered a lot of ground, as usual.
Yeah, it's
you
pretty
know?
amazing.
Yeah.
And my understanding is that you're planning on doing something regularly here, which is like something from the mayor's desk.
Oh, yeah, so you've told me. Yeah.
So I've told you, yeah.
No, it'll be wonderful. It will be, I believe it'll be more of a format of me speaking to the camera.
Yes.
I'm appreciating the time that you're going to give me, so I'll kind of go with what you think would work best.
Mhm.
But I think maybe people might appreciate just hearing updates of what I'm doing once a month,
I
maybe.
think it would be really great, and I think
Yeah.
once a month is plenty.
Yeah, yeah.
And it gives people a connection with you. I mean, this is a connection
Yeah.
too. But we can't necessarily do this once a month.
Yeah.
So for you to have your quote own space is a great way
Yeah.
for people to connect with you,
Yeah.
and to ask questions. I mean, clearly not live. I mean, that might be fun actually to do a call in sometime.
Oh, talk about putting me on the spot.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm not so sure.
We can talk about that one
Hold on.
sometime.
Yeah.
Further down the road.
But maybe questions
Take
via
an email.
email or
Yeah,
something like that.
exactly.
I think that would be great because maybe I'll see a theme
Yeah.
and it'll direct me toward what people want to
And
hear.
It will draw your attention to things that you might not think about
Yeah.
otherwise, because I mean, there's so much.
And I'm really conscious of not, I don't want to be the only one on the stage. I need supporters on the stage with me. So
Right.
if I know what people want to ask, then it'll take a lot of it away from me.
Right.
Because that's not the kind of mayor of course, I want to be the mayor that people feel like can be a leader, but I need people to help me do that.
Right.
So taking the questions would be a great way to start involving
Exactly. And they certainly know that you're approachable. I mean, you're always wandering up and down the street.
people. Yeah, it's not that I don't have a car. I do have a car. I just choose to walk. Like on the
That's
way
good.
here, I got waylaid because somebody saw me and they pulled over into a parking lot and got out of their truck to talk to me. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm
That's
talking about.
great.
I love it.
That's
Yep.
great. The mayor of Ayers Cliff used to ride up and down the town on his horse.
Yeah, I did pump up the tires to my bike, but I'm not there yet.
You
Yeah.
don't have to pump up the hooves, but again, it's such a great way of connecting.
I talked to a guy yesterday on my way back from the Pokemon Exchange, and he was fishing off the Causeway Bridge, and I just, asked if he caught anything. No, and so we started to chat to each other, and turns out he works at Columbia. He's from here. He went to high school here. And we just had a super, super conversation.
Right.
And like I said, Beth Barnes would not have done that.
No.
Because it would have been really awkward. But, at the end of the conversation, I walked away and then I doubled back and said, oh, by the way, I'm the newly elected mayor, so I appreciate you talking to me. So
you
I
didn't
figured
just
I
think
better qualify it
You
in case.
didn't want him to think you were just some random
Exactly.
crazy woman having a social interaction.
Who was desperate for someone to talk to, yeah. But it was really interesting. He
Did he
explained
know
a
that?
lot about the fish migration for
Cool.
me. Yeah, so everybody I talked to, I'm not kidding you, I learned something that I didn't
Yeah.
know before. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a sport, fishing. It's defined as a sport.
Yeah.
It's certainly something that there's a lot of interest in.
A lot. I was surprised to see only one person on the bridge last night, because usually when I walk back and
There's
forth,
several.
now there have been several out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it
so-
wasn't so nice, the weather last night.
No, he did admit that it was cold, and I said, well, it doesn't matter if you're cold. You look really good from a distance standing there fishing. It's a great advert for
Yeah,
for
but
Newport.
if the fish aren't biting, what's the point? Does he catch and release or eat the fish?
Well, he was telling me about quite a large one. And all you fisher people out there, I'm sorry if I get this wrong, but I'm pretty sure he said 28. He caught one that was 28 inches
Uh-huh.
and 8 pounds.
Wow.
So that's an eater. That's
Well,
not a
it
thrower
depends
backer.
on what type it is.
Yeah, it was a salmon. And I got to be
Cool.
really careful now with salmon and trout, because I
Yes.
was called out on Facebook because I accidentally referred to
You
the fish
referred
as
to
a
the
trout.
fish as a trout.
And I now know it's a salmon, yeah. But again, another
Right.
great learning experience, yeah. I'm definitely one who can take constructive criticism, so
That's no
keep those
trout.
cards and letters coming, yeah. Never make that mistake again, but I'm pretty sure this young man
Yeah.
said he caught a
I
salmon.
haven't paid attention. Is the boardwalk open
Yes,
again
it
now?
is.
Good.
Yeah, I walked it last night. It was really awesome to have it
Good.
open again. I love that. Yeah, feels
Yeah, it
like
was
you're walking
weird.
on water.
It was weird that it was closed. I mean, I know why it was closed.
Yeah,
but
I missed it in the winter because I like walking over it in the winter
Right.
too. Especially those really nice ice formations
Yes,
on
exactly.
the railing there.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
yes,
I
it's
understand
open.
it's a liability issue
Yeah.
and it's owned by the state.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Speaking
but-
of the boardwalk, another
Yeah.
segue.
Yeah.
I had a really nice meeting with Andrea Carbine about
Wednesdays on the
Wednesdays
wa-
on the waterfront.
Yes.
Yeah, I think she said there are 6 planned. So excited. I'm so
That
excited
is
about those.
Awesome.
Yes, it is awesome. It is a testament to what we can be and what we are becoming.
That's
you know?
right. And those two women have put so much energy and so much of themselves into that.
Yeah.
And initially they did it with so little help.
Yeah.
And it's now taking on a life
Yeah.
of its own. It's wonderful.
It is wonderful, and Rick Uford Chase is also doing a great job with his team.
Yes.
To promote. I'm not going to say too much because I'm
Summer
not sure.
Strolls or something like that, I think it's called.
Summer Strolls. Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
The honest truth is, there is so much happening that I can't keep up with it.
For a tiny town, we certainly have a packed agenda
We
of
do.
everything.
Yep. And I have a vision that we are going to be on the list of places that people want to visit, like Stowe. We will never be a Stowe per se, but
I
we don't
don't
want to
want
be
to
a
be.
Stowe. But we are going to be on that list
Yes.
of towns that people want to visit: Burlington, Stowe, Newport. People are going to, put that pin on their map and say, need to go there next
I've
summer
heard good
or
things
winter.
about that town.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, I really feel that that's the case. And I've been reaching out to a lot of people
Yeah.
outside of Newport who have a
Right.
lot of experience in building towns to be the ones that people put pins on.
Right.
Not stuff that, I want to say, hey, I'm doing this, doing that. I'm just kind of trying to lay some foundation. And
Right.
they're willing to come up.
That's great. And it's not just about the externals of a town, it's about the heartbeat.
Yeah.
And as you have a
love
community
that.
that's happy
Yeah.
and engaged and
heartbeat.
doing things,
Yeah, that's good.
it's great.
We are just, I've said before that, we have done a really great job inching toward the end of that springboard.
Yeah.
I mean, people have worked for years to put us on the map. And I feel like we're
Right.
almost at the end of that springboard, just saying, should we do a
Okay,
swan dive or a
let's
back
go.
dive
Let's
or
just go.
a belly flop? Let's do a swan
Doesn't
dive.
matter, we're
Yeah,
getting in.
whatever. Let's just go. And I think with Rick and Andrea and
We-
me and so
we
many
were
unsung
certainly
people.
on that path before. COVID did not help any of
No,
us
it
in
didn't.
any way.
Yeah.
But now we're crawling back out.
Yeah. Oh.
And getting ready to run.
Definitely, definitely. I see it and I feel it.
Yeah.
And I think everybody else does too.
Yes.
It's not just to me. Everybody else is feeling it. And we're kind of caught up in that whole groundswell.
Yes.
It's just, it's fascinating to watch, and it's just wonderful to be a part of.
Yeah. it
Everyone
is.
should be really proud of what's happening in Newport right now. Everyone, I don't care who you are, what you do, if you're rich or if you're not rich, if you're, whatever. We are all in this together, and it's happening.
Mhm.
It's really happening.
It's great. And on that note, we're done.
Oh, I always
Time
hate to
goes
see this come
fast.
to an end. Yeah, because I
Well,
like to talk about
I
Newport.
can tell. And obviously we'll do it again
Okay.
at some point.
Yeah.
And there will be the mayor's desk or whatever
Yeah.
your show is going to be called.
Not sure yet. Maybe I should have people write in to VT Rocks and say, what should
it.
that show be called?
Hey,
Yeah.
post your question. You'll always get answers.
Okay,
You know
that's
that.
actually a really good idea. I think
Yeah.
I'll do that because I want to hear from people.
Yeah. So thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Thanks,
and
Pam.
see you
It's
around
always
town.
a pleasure. Thanks, guys.